So Harvey,
Mario, how are you?
Good to see you again.
Good to see you. Welcome back, sir.
We're here with Harvey Johnson at Brickell Mazda in the heart of Miami. And we're talking about the Mazda CX-9. This is an excellent vehicle that they completely redesigned. And I'm going to let Harvey tell us a little bit about this car.
A little bit about this car, the redesign. This car, you know, Mario, they redesigned it from the ground up. The car weighs about 350 pounds lighter than the previous generation, but Mazda took great care to go back and add 60 pounds of sound deadening materials so that this cabin is much quieter than the previous generation.
Without having a weight penalty.
Without having a weight penalty.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Let me ask you a question.
Sure.
When they redesigned it completely, the mentality of building a car also changed for Mazda, didn't it?
Sure. The mentality changed for Mazda in focusing on a driver-centric experience. Behind the cockpit, behind the wheel, what's easy for the driver to touch, get to, control, direct. So it's a driver-centric mindset.
It's a much more tactile experience.
Absolutely. And the driver's hands, fingers, they don't have to venture very far. This console was raised and moved just a little further to the left. Everything along the door handles, the power windows, the power locks, to the steering wheel. Cruise control, everything's within the driver's touch and reach.
I see that there's refinement and craftsmanship that went into this vehicle that I don't know if it was not thought about before, but in this vehicle they just brought it up like 20 levels in terms of the quality of the look, like you were saying, the tactile sense of it, visual sense. Everything is just in its place, where it belongs. It's very luxurious, much more luxurious than the price would indicate.
Yes, and you know, Mazda looked at its heritage. They looked at the Japanese style of design, from the Kodo style of motion on the exterior vehicle to the interior vehicle. They brought those same philosophies and choice of materials inside. Along the center console here, the metals and the shape of the metals are designed after Japanese swords to reflect the metal and the craftsmanship that goes back thousands of years, to the rosewood piano inlays around the center console and on the door edges. So again, following that Japanese style of design and really making it one level notch, to go back to your previous comment.
That's pretty awesome. Very, very awesome. In terms of technology, what is this vehicle equipped with?
This vehicle is equipped with everything you're going to find at the premium level of automobiles. It's actually enclosed right here inside this Mazda vehicle at the affordable luxury level. Mazda being right between the premium levels and the lower tier. And at the affordable luxury level, you've got dual zone climate control. Passenger can have their temperature at 72, driver can have his or her temperature at 65. You have Mazda Connect system, which is your home system for all of your entertainment, infotainment as Mazda likes to call it, your navigation, your radio, your radio sources, your HD traffic map, HD radio stations, full integration with iPhone or Android platform. So it's a very detailed command center that is easily controlled just like you would an iPad from a dead stop. When you're in motion, Mazda takes great safety to lock that out, and you're going to command it with your controller here. You've got hotkeys to really direct the system.
Also to keep your eyes on the road as opposed to on a touchscreen, even though a touchscreen is a really nice thing to have.
Yes.
And it's something that is very contemporary and people are looking forward to carrying on throughout their lives, their phones, the equipment at home. So this is bringing home to...
Yes, I mean, let's face it, Mario, the integration of technology in our homes, the integration of technology inside our vehicles, inside our everyday lifestyles, it definitely helps us going forward.
In terms of the power of the motor, the fuel economy, what are we looking at in this car?
So in that...
This is a pretty big car.
It's a pretty big car. And in that redesign, as we spoke to earlier, it starts with the frame, the chassis, the engine. This engine is a 2.5 liter dynamic pressure turbo. Dynamic pressure meaning that at low RPMs, the turbine will spool up at a faster rate than without the dynamic pressure. You're going to get 250 horsepower. You're going to get 315 foot-pounds of torque, and you've got your choice of either premium or regular octane. The difference is going to be you'll get the 250 horsepower at the premium octane, and you'll get 226 horsepower at the regular octane.
Which is not a great difference anyway.
Not a great difference. In fact, it's a subtle difference. Better fuel economy from this 2.5-liter turbo than the predecessor, the V6 engine. A lighter weight engine, very fuel efficient. To go back to our comment earlier about the vehicle being lighter in terms of gross weight, this is the perfect matchup with this engine.
That's fantastic. Well, it looks like Mazda is come a long way, and they're making better and better cars, a little bit more looking into the future, and getting the technology together with the ergonomics of the vehicle, et cetera, et cetera.
You know, Mazda's goal from the very start, Mazda's been around since 46 or 47 building cars, and their goal from the very start was to take the technology that they've learned from on the racetrack and integrate that into their passenger cars. Now, Mario, these cars aren't going to have 600 horsepower and go 300 miles per hour. That's not their goal, but that same level of dynamic design, the same level of integration from what can enhance the driver and the passenger's experience while in the car really brings it home under all of what Mazda tries to do. Let me give you a quick example. The race cars on the racetrack, they achieve a compression ratio of about 13.1, 13.2. That is incorporated right inside of our engine. So you get that same level of compression. You get a great exhaust system that, you know, lets the engine breathe much more than a standard four-cylinder or even the standard lower tier of automobiles. At the same time, the piston design inside these engines is designed different than the industry to improve the combustion right below the spark plug, the fuel, and the air. All of that is dramatically improved with Mazda, and it shows in the fuel economy. Right? Mazda teeters on the borderline of diesel performance or hybrid performance, yet at regular octane.
And these performances are actually fine-tuned on the racetrack. Whatever they learn on the racetrack is brought over to the consumer vehicles.
That's their goal.
Even though it's not a race car, but that technology incorporates very well into our everyday driving also.
Yes.
That's terrific. What other equipment does this car have that we should know about?
So this car features a moonroof across the top. It's a one-touch moonroof, and then on the return, you can actually adjust it if you want it halfway open, as well as a vent option where you can vent it'll just tip up at the back and vent for you. As you look up, now something new from Mazda, this is one of the first vehicles that has a black headliner and not the ivory or the white or the nude headliner. It's a complete black headliner, which gives the vehicle dynamics from a visual perspective, again, that elevated mid-tier luxury feel. Napa leather seats are inside this vehicle. Napa leather is a nice, rich, subtle leather that doesn't go through as much processing as normal leather. A normal leather process can go through anywhere from 5 through 10 steps, whereas Napa will go from anywhere 3 through 6.
So you can say this is more organic, more natural.
More organic, more luxury feel. You can see the grains in the leather, so it's very luxury, very, very premium feel. So this vehicle features 3 rows of seats, so you've got a 7-passenger to which everything can lay down flat in the back, and you've got room for the weekend warrior who's going to go home and change out his garbage disposal, or who's going to lay some sheetrock in his home. So you've got room in the back to complete those things. And when you're not the weekend warrior, you've got a perfect vehicle to take the family out for dinner, take the family out to the movies, and it's a nice premium luxury feel.
The car is at home, and no matter what environment you live in, it adapts
very versatile.
To whatever you do.
Yes,
that's fantastic.
You've got in the center console here, you have an armrest, which when it folds down, you've got cup holders there, because cup holders are important. You also have charging ports there, charging ports for your electronics, iPads, phones, 2 charging ports. One is a 2.1 amp, and then one is a lower amp. I think it's about a 1.8. The 2.1 amp will charge your devices faster than the other, so there's full electronic integration at the rear cabin as well as what starts up at the front.
That's perfect. The passengers and drivers, everybody in the vehicle is getting full service.
Yes.
All the time.
Yes.
Well, Harvey, this is terrific. I really appreciate your knowledge.
Anytime.
I think
My
I
pleasure.
learned a lot today.
My pleasure. Harvey Johnson with Brickell Mazda. My direct line is 305-903-2025. I can be reached via email at Harvey, that's HARVEY, .Johnson, JOHNSON, @brickellmotors.com.